You are not the niche. Stop trying to become the niche. This is coming from somebody who's grown 3 accounts in 3 different niches. And now I also grew an Instagram account. I guess it's my 4th account. Now to really understand why becoming the niche is terrible advice, you have to think about content and social media from microeconomics. Because at the end of the day, there is a limited amount of viewers and attention on social media, a limited number of watch hours. In biology, the literal definition of niche, or I believe how it's pronounced is niche, is the functional role that an organism plays in their ecosystem. Especially what predators and what prey and what resources they're after, and then who their competition is. Animals over time, in order to actually survive and reproduce across multiple generations, they had to find the corner of the ecosystem that they could actually thrive and survive in. And you, as a beginner creator, must do the same. Everybody telling you that you need to become the niche and that you are the niche, it's frankly survivorship bias. They're usually either talented, they're pretty, or they've been creating on social media for so long that they've niched down at the start, and now because they've actually built an audience and a moat around themselves, they've kind of like become lions in the jungle, where a lion can do whatever the fuck he wants. Doesn't have to really stress too hard and find a very specific niche that he can survive in. A lion can get resources pretty easily. When you are starting social media, you are not a fucking lion, so stop taking advice from lions in the space who are telling you that you just need to feel good, and don't choose a niche because that's too restricting. You, a beginner creator with less than 100,000 followers, are like a pigeon in the nicest way possible. I say this because I'm literally like a pigeon too on YouTube right now. You are hunting for worms. You are not trying to compete with the lions who've been creating content for years, built a massive audience. You need to choose the niche that you can actually have more experience and a competitive edge in. Choosing your niche, which is just whatever topic or sector that you are creating content about that's specific, it's not doing your personal brand a disservice. It's just basic microeconomics of supply and demand. That doesn't mean don't tell your life story. That doesn't mean don't show your personality. That's not what I'm saying. You should be telling your life story. You should be sharing your life experiences. You should be expressing yourself authentically, but know who your ideal viewer is. Know what their wants are. Know what their fears are. Know what their needs are. And know what content your ideal viewer is already watching. That's your niche. Don't think of yourself as the niche. Think of yourself as the competitive advantage, your life story, your personality as the competitive edge to dominate a niche. Everybody who's telling you to become the niche, if you like fitness and you like art, talk about both. They're telling you literally to spread yourself thin and try to compete in 3 different niches simultaneously. No shit, you're not gonna win because nobody in the art niche is going to want to watch your fitness content, and nobody in the fitness niche is going to want to watch your art content. So it makes your page hard to follow along to, and the value proposition of your account really confusing to strangers. That's you confusing your stranger viewer who saw you 2 days ago for 30 seconds on your feed. You are not that important to your strangers yet. If you're not providing value to your stranger viewers, they are going to leave you. They are not going to give you this time of day. And that's where a lot of these more experienced creators who've been creating content on one singular account get wrong. They're now projecting the advice that they do today, which is just enjoy the process and not burn out. But that's because they built an audience of over 1 million followers. And they are trying now to play the game of sustainability, not the game of survival. When you are first starting your personal brand and you want to even get breath to survive and just make your first $10,000 online, try to get your first brand deal, try to get your first UGC deal, try to get your first client or customer to your business, do not try to become the niche. You're taking advice from people who are comfortable. So you're probably wondering now, how do you actually choose your niche then? And the simple answer is, if you genuinely want to reach 100,000 followers and make content your full-time career, choose a niche of a topic you're interested in, but the viewers in that niche can perceive you as more entertaining, more inspirational, or more educational than the rest of the creators in that niche. So for example, when I was first starting out my Instagram and I was stuck literally at like 2,000 to 20,000 followers, I tried getting into the lifestyle and vlogs niche. I wanted to be a college creator, like all of my favorite college creators like Elliot Choi, Justin Han. I was like, damn bro, I want people to like me for me. And my videos just were stuck, bro. They'd get like 10K views. I wouldn't reach a new audience. And that feeling of being stuck hurts. That's why I want to make this message to you. When I actually niched down to the online business niche, that's when my content fucking took off. This was in around October, November of 2023. I realized I should probably just make online business content because that's what I nerd about. And since November of 2023 now, in the past 2 years, I went from around 25,000 followers to 460,000 followers on Instagram. I built an audience that knows, likes, and trusts me, but that's because I niched down to the online business niche. However, niching down is not the same thing as winning and dominating in your niche. I'd like to think that I was one of the fastest growing people in this niche in the past 2 years. So how did I, a broke college student who at the time literally made $3,000 a month, dominate the online business niche and grow so fast? I didn't become the niche, but I did inject parts of my personality that were different for everybody else in the space, being in college and being Asian. I really leaned into those angles as hard as possible. So I started a series on Instagram where I would vlog my daily college life, and I would really make clear that I'm in college. Every single hook, road to $100,000 a month as a college student, road to $100,000 a month before I drop out of college. And then every time I was back home with my parents, POV, you told your Korean mom you're gonna drop out. POV, you told your Korean mom how much you made from your online business. POV, you became a disappointment to your Korean mom. I spammed these angles where I would relate to a very specific ICP of a Korean college student. So you need to understand your niche. You need to see what the norms are in your niche. And what I saw was people flexing all the time in the online business niche. I didn't see anybody just being real, being funny. And I knew these motherfuckers in the online business niche are not as funny as me. And I knew they were not as Korean as me. And I knew they were not in college either. Another similar example that I think did a really good job is this creator named Ken Jondra, who at the beginning of this year in 2025, he was around maybe like 20,000 followers, and now he's at 500,000 followers in the Christianity niche. Ken Jondra made vulnerable cinematic storytelling content. That blend in the Christianity niche hadn't really been seen before, where somebody was taking these cinematic principles of creators like OMG Adrian, Chloe She, Mylene's Mind, Film with Colleen, and injecting it into the niche of Christianity, while also taking principles from creators like Hamza, opening up about problems with lust and being vulnerable. Find a niche that you can dominate in where your personality and your life story hasn't really been leaned into as much. Like, I'm not gonna lie, I hadn't really seen that many Korean online business people on the internet. So another thing too is feel free to take inspiration from other niches, but know your niche deep down. Which niche you are trying to build a competitive edge inside. Was I richer than anybody in the niche? Fuck no. Was I smarter than anybody in the niche? No, fuck no, bro. I am a shit entrepreneur, honestly. I'm not gonna try to compete and outsmart and out business advice Alex Hormozy. And if you are trying to do the same thing, understand that you're gonna get squashed. It's like you are a pigeon, but then you don't have a beak, and you're trying to compete eating worms out of a hole against all the pigeons with beaks. You're gonna get fucked. You're gonna lose. But then you might just have this weird biological adaptation where your claws are really sharp. So then you can just, I don't know, kill other pigeons while they're eating their worms. Okay, if you have weird things that make you eccentric and different from people in your niche, understand that that can be your creative strategic advantage. My background was in comedy, and I watch hella brain rot content, so that honestly became part of my strategic advantage too, is I tried to reference as much brain rot and pop culture in my videos as possible, because I know for a fact that experienced seasoned entrepreneurs don't have the time to actually be tapped in with pop culture. And I was young, I was 19 when I was making this content, so it was perfect timing. So what makes you different? This is not becoming the niche. You still have a niche, but lean into your advantages that make you different and fucking dominate your niche. That is how you grow lightning fast and actually build a creator career. What gap in viewership do you notice is underserved and feels unheard in your niche? That is your genetic adaptation that's going to make you thrive and survive in your niche and build a creator career.